Hey guys, welcome back. Apparently, our modern society is having problems in the romance department. And I think there might be one thing that's missing in our lives that could help us improve that area in society. So let's get into it. Now, we've all heard about the birth rates declining year over year, decade over decade, and how single folks out there are struggling when it comes to relationships. You've got kind of the content creators about feminism and red pill, black pill content, and people are just going their separate ways. They're not coming together. They're not finding the romance anymore. Nothing is inspiring them these days. And a big reason why I think that's not happening is because we're missing the vibe when it comes to music. I'm in my music room here. I love music. I think that music inspires people to live a certain way, okay? Depending on the type of music you listen to, obviously. And for me, I always dreamed about having a family and being romantic with the ladies because I listened to R&B back in the 90s. R&B, funk, soul, and just that vibe that you got from that kind of music sent you on a path and to dream about starting a family and living that life and finding that woman out there, or vice versa, finding that man who maybe is courting you in a romantic way and using music in that fashion to say, hey, I want to be with you. I want to be part of something. I want to build something with you. And a lot of music back in the 90s, when it comes to black R&B, that's what they were singing about. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the music was a little raunchy, okay? It was back in the 90s. It was a lot of fun, a lot of partying. But there was a lot of great music back then. And I think that's part of what's missing these days. I don't hear it much at all. I haven't listened to much R&B because I just haven't heard a lot of good content coming out there. There's some here and there, but hey, let's do a show and tell, and let's go over some music that I used to listen to, and let's see if it kind of sparks some more romantic interest out for people out there. And maybe I can give you guys some ideas of how to motivate you and inspire you to find that person out there and get a little bit of the romance back into the equation. So let's look at some music. Now, I've gotten back into vinyl recently, so it's kind of easier to show. Now, let's see here. Back in the 90s, we had Nirvana. This Unplugged album is a great album. I don't think this is going to bring back the romance, though, but still, it's a great album, okay? Then we've got Metallica Black. You can't even see it barely because it's just all black. I don't think that's going to bring back the romance, but I like the music. It's great. Now, again, I was into black music. I loved it. Good old Tupac, Thug Life. Do you guys think that's going to bring back the romance? I don't think so. But I used to like rap music. That's what got me probably into R&B. And again, I liked Tupac. And it didn't sway me as far as my dreams of having a romantic life and having a family, okay? It's just music. You got to understand it's an art form, okay? Take it as what you want. Of course, Tupac, Me Against the World. This was a great album too. You know, it is what it is. I don't listen to it too much these days because I do have a family. It's very raw and hardcore, but you got to understand what it is, right? But then, you know, let's talk about some of the music that might get you into the mood for some romance. We've got here Bee Gees' Greatest Hits. Now, if this doesn't get you in the mood, I don't know what will. You know, the Bee Gees were just classic 70s, nice guys, nice vibes. You know, a little bit of dancing here, some vibes, a little bit of disco if you're into that. But this is kind of what started this whole kind of R&B flow, was the 70s. So, you know, we start with the Bee Gees there. And of course, I love my Prince, Purple Rain. This album, you know, Purple Rain is just a great kind of chill, lovey-dovey kind of song. Now, Prince, he's got some raunchy stuff. Most of his stuff is pretty raunchy. But I enjoyed Prince nonstop. I still listen to Prince to this day. But there's some good music there from his album collection, you know, that kind of get you in the mood, you know, kind of think of the ladies, or for ladies, think about the guys. Now I'm getting into more of the R&B, and I'll talk about my favorite artists. This one here, Tony, Tony, Tone, Sons of Soul. This album, it's got this one song on here, Anniversary. Okay, this song got me in the mood. It's like 15 minutes long, something like that. But yeah, great album. Totally get you in the mood, back into the romance, which is what we need to make the babies out there, guys. Okay, we got to get back to having kids and families. That's what this channel is about sometimes, okay? And then I got a bunch of CDs here. I kept all my CDs. Now, they're not in jewel cases. I did migrate them into these plastic films. But I'll go through my CDs real quick. And then I'm going to get into my favorite artists and really why a couple songs inspired me to build a family. So, but first, I got 112 here. Kind of slow, relaxing kind of R&B. As Yet. Here's another great one. Babyface, lots of slow vibe songs, really great artist. He's got like 2 or 3 albums. I've only got one, I think, but he's got a lot more that, you know, probably you could listen to on Spotify. Drew Hill, this was more of kind of more faster R&B, but they had some good kind of soul R&B as well, but kind of more partying vibes. Janet Jackson, she had a good few good albums back in the 90s that kind of had some lovey-dovey songs in there. Now, Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat had just some great kind of chill vibes, really romance kind of related songs, and I liked his albums too. New Edition, these guys were great. Now, New Edition, if you don't know, this was the Bobby Brown era, and this was kind of more just faster funk, hip-hop, but they did have some good romantic kind of themes to their music. I really like them. Soul for Real, Candy Rain, they were more probably about just kind of younger, youthful, romantic thoughts in general. Really more immature kind of music, but it was fun back in the 90s. I listened to them a little bit. Usher, he's more of just kind of, I'd say, raunchier kind of songs, a couple of love songs here and there, but I liked him. I've got a few of his albums. But yeah, those were the CDs I had. But my favorite band of all time is Jodeci. Okay, Jodeci, they came out back in, I think, the early 90s. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's called Forever My Lady. Now, there's 2 songs on here. One of them is called Come and Talk to Me, and then the next one is Forever My Lady. These 2 songs, guys, if you haven't listened to this, if you want to get in the romance mood, if you like kind of this R&B kind of music, those 2 songs on this album are everything as far as like what I thought of as far as my future. Okay, Forever My Lady, it's all about having a baby and having a marriage in general, okay? And it's just a great song. I love this album. Now, there's a few songs on here that's probably a little bit maybe raunchy, I'm not sure. I haven't listened to it for a while, but it's a great album. And then Jodeci, they got big on that album, those 2 songs, and then they had the party life, okay? And they have this one called the Show, the After Party, the Hotel, pretty raunchy in general, not super romantic, but still a good album. I did enjoy it. Now, this album I struggled to find because back in the 90s, they didn't have albums. They stopped making records and everything went to CDs. So I had to buy this one from Japan. This was the most expensive album I bought. It was like $70. And it's got 1 scratch on it. So unfortunately, it does skip on 1 song. And then Diary of a Mad Band. This was their 3rd album. After they got big on that album, Forever My Lady. Again, a little raunchy. They were young men in their prime, partying it up after they did these concerts. And so that's where they went with their music. And then they broke up. And I think a big reason why they broke up is because those 2 follow-up albums were more raunchy and they weren't as lovey-dovey as Forever My Lady was. So when they broke up, 2 of them stayed together and started this band called KC and JoJo. And this album, Love Always, is one of my favorite albums of all time. And my wife and I danced to this song, what was it called? Love Always, I believe is what it's called. Let me double check that. Let's see here. No, never mind. It's not Love Always, it's All My Life. I'm so old, I'm forgetting the song we danced to. It's All My Life. Highly recommend that this album, if you guys get a chance to listen to it. Very romantic album. All My Life is just a great song, and even all the rest of the songs are really good. Again, we got to get back into the romance, guys. And if you're married for a few years, hey, get back into it, live it up with your partner. So, recommend this album. And then I had a few other albums. They had a bunch more after Love Always. I've got this one, KC and JoJo, It's Real. There's no album art because, again, I couldn't find these albums. I don't know how I found this, but it's a good album as well. And then this one, Emotional, KC and JoJo, another great album. And they've got a few other albums as well. I couldn't find them on vinyl. I could find them on CD or Spotify. So, anyways, I believe that this is really a core problem to our society, is that we don't have enough good music to get people in the vibe and to realize that life is short. And no matter what kind of problems people have had out there, I know relationships come and go, people break up, people have divorces, but you only live life once, and I think that music can set the stage for helping our society get back to what's important. And that's family, that's having each other, that's having relationships and trying and taking the risk. I'd watched a video the other day on Dapper Dev. He's kind of a red pillar, black pillar kind of guy, but he's got some good content in general about life and problems in our society. And he had one video out recently that talked about how you shouldn't save every single penny for the future, because in your 60s, life is not guaranteed and you might not even make it to 60. So why save all your money? Well, I kind of think of that in the same way as, why not take a risk with the ladies, or vice versa with the men? You only live one life. And I know it's risky. I know people get hurt. I know sometimes money is involved, right? But why pinch all your pennies and not try? And I think that music can get us back into trying again and getting our romantic vibes out, getting those romantic juices flowing again, guys. I haven't listened to this music in a long time. I'll admit, I need to get back into it, because this stuff is great. It gets you emotionally in the state that you want to be in to love your wife, to love your family, to get back into the swing of things. I was into this. This is why I wanted to get married as early as I did. I got married at 20. I was 24 years old. I met my wife at 20 years old, and that's because I listened to this music nonstop in my teenage years. And that's all I wanted, was a girlfriend or a wife and to get married. And this was a big inspiration to that motivation for me getting married. So anyways, hopefully this helps everyone out there get motivated, get back into the swing of things, because that's what life is, guys. So anyways, what do you guys think of this content? What kind of music did you listen to? What kind of music inspired you guys? Maybe it was kind of slow country. I know country's got some good romantic vibes out there. Some of the 80s ballads have some lovey-dovey romantic vibes to them too. That can also be there as well. But let me know what your favorite songs are for getting the romance started, and maybe we'll share some more of that content, some more of that music together. So anyways, if you guys could like and subscribe to the video and the channel, and take a look at my previous video, and everyone have a great day. Thanks. Bye.